Today on the Film Reel, we're going to be talking about some more movie delays, the season premiere of Batwoman, and a first look at the trailer for Superman and Lois here on the Film Reel. News Channel 15 presents the Film Reel, the talk show where we discuss everything going on in the world of movies and television, with hosts Bryce West and John Freeland. This is the Film Reel. Welcome into the Film Reel, the talk show where we discuss everything going on in the world of movies and television. I am your host, Bryce West, alongside John Freeland, as per usual. How are you doing today, John?
I'm doing all right.
That's good to hear. Good to hear, as always. So we're going to move it in straight to our box office report right now.
Coming in at number 5 in the box office is Monster Hunter starring Milla Jovovich. When Lieutenant Artemis and her Lois soldiers are transported to a new world, they engage in desperate battle for survival against enormous enemies with incredible powers. Based on a video game by Capcom, the film brought in $930,000, dropping 15.9% from last weekend. For the Film Reel, I'm Drew Poughton.
Coming at number 4 is news of the world starring Tom Hanks. A Civil War veteran agrees to deliver a girl taken by Kiowa people years ago to her aunt and uncle against her will. They will travel hundreds of miles and face grave dangers as they search for a place that either can call home. The film brought in $997,000, dropping 19.3% from last weekend. For the Film Reel, I'm Branson Beard.
Coming in at number 3 is The Croods, A New Age starring Nicolas Cage, Emma Stone, and Ryan Reynolds. The prehistoric family, the Croods, are challenged by a rival family, the Bettermans, who claim to be better and more evolved. The film brought in $2 million, rising 10.5% from last weekend. For the Film Reel, I'm Mallory Burton.
Coming in at number 2 in the box office is Wonder Woman 1984, starring Gal Gadot and Chris Pine. Diana must contend with a work colleague and businessman whose desire for extreme wealth sends the world down a path of destruction after an ancient artifact that grants wishes goes missing. The film grossed $2.6 million, dropping 13.3% from last weekend. For the Film Reel, I'm Kyler Gaiman.
Coming in at number 1 in the box office is The Marksman starring Catherine Winnick and Liam Neeson. A rancher on the Arizona border becomes the unlikely defender of a young Mexican boy desperately fleeing the cartel assassins who have pursued him into the U.S. The film opened with $3.1 million. For the Film Reel, I'm Eli Grimes.
Thanks to those five, as always, for providing the box office report for this week. And, well, John, we were wrong. Once again, Wonder Woman 1984 was taken down. Liam Neeson likes to sneak up behind these movies, and he goes I gotcha.
I'm like, if any movie were to take it over, it would be a Liam Neeson
I know.
movie.
And they always catch us by surprise too. We never know they're coming.
Yeah,
we're never prepared. We're like, oh well, Wonder Woman 1984 is going to be number 1 for maybe even longer than Tenet. And
it's another war with Grandpa.
Yeah, and you know what? It's been taken down by The Marksman, starring Liam Neeson. And so, yeah, that's very interesting to see. I know that the critical and fan reception for Wonder Woman 1984 definitely hasn't been too great, so that could have something to do with it being taken down early. But what do you think kind of went in to Wonder Woman 1984 being knocked down to number 2? I mean, it has had a pretty long run at number 1. But we figured since it was like the most highly anticipated blockbuster since Tenet, it would be on there as long, if not longer, than Tenet. So why do you think Tenet was able to stick it at number 1 longer than Wonder Woman?
With Tenet, there was such a big dry streak about any movies that were coming out. Like, it was very slim or very low budget ones, and so it makes sense for Tenet to stay up there. While Wonder Woman is starting to drop it right once some other smaller studios that are putting a bit more money into the things are starting to put out movies again. Although Wonder Woman also has been out, I think, since December, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so it has been.
It has been a pretty good run. I think it's a little under a month.
Yeah.
Whereas Tenet, I believe, was 5 weeks. So yeah, that was an incredible run by Tenet. I think it also has to do, like I said before, the critical and fan response from Wonder Woman. They definitely aren't as favorable as the first Wonder Woman and even Tenet, which we're comparing it to right now.
Results? I haven't seen much about that.
Whenever it first came out, it was certified fresh, but then as more reviews started coming in for Wonder Woman, then it started going down. I think it ended up somewhere in the 60s. on Rotten Tomatoes. So, and again, Rotten Tomatoes, I mean, take it as you will. I mean, but the way they do it is not just one guy reviewing it. They combine like in Wonder Woman's case, probably hundreds of reviews and put them all together and make a percentage out of that based off of what their scores are.
What about the like fan reviews? How high is that?
I don't know about that, but it's not high. It's not any better, I don't think.
Okay.
If not, maybe even worse. I know the fan reception definitely has not been very positive for this movie, and also Tenet you could only watch it in the theater.
Right.
Right.
This one is also dropped.
Yeah, and Wonder Woman 1984 was also released on HBO Max, so that also could have something to do with the reason why Wonder Woman had less of a theatrical run at number one.
Yeah. That probably is
Tenet.
a
I'm
big
sure it'll
reason.
still be in the top 5 for a while.
Yeah.
Because like I said, there's movies coming out, but it's just like they're not really making too much, as you can tell by the box office report. You know,
It's the same
usually
for
whenever
as last
something opens, because we had a movie open this week, The Marksman. And usually whenever a movie opens, especially something like a Liam Neeson, I would expect probably somewhere around $100 million in normal time, right? But before COVID. Whereas now, $3 million, that's a pretty decent open. So, we live in quite the different time with the box office now. So, but I still think it's very interesting to analyze looking at it now and looking based off of what it was. So it's still very interesting to see. And moving on now, some more movies have been delayed, theatrical releases. The studios are still hoping to try to bring back the theatrical experience, to bring people to actually come into the theaters without having to put their movies on some sort of streaming service or direct to video on demand. The thing that kind of started this string of delays was No Time to Die, James Bond, which was moved over to October 8th of 2021. And I believe Morbius, which is sort of a Spider-Man spin-off kind of thing, just recently moved to October, if I'm not mistaken. Or at least it was before. And now Morbius, a movie that was supposed to come out last year, has been pushed all the way back to January 21st, 2022. Wow. That is
an entire year.
That is after Spider-Man 3, the new movie, the new Tom Holland movie coming out this Christmas, and people were expecting there to be some sort of connection to the new Spider-Man movie because Michael Keaton shows up at the end of the trailer for Morbius, and Michael Keaton played one of the villains, the Vulture, in Spider-Man Homecoming, the first Tom Holland Spider-Man film. So people were kind of wondering, what's the connection between Morbius and the next Spider-Man movie? And it doesn't look like we're going to get to see that until all the way until next year. And then there's also been rumors that Black Widow will also be pushed back again. Currently, it's set to release May 7th this year. However, it is expected that that movie will be pushed back again, and it begs the question. Everybody was all up in arms whenever HBO Max announced that they would be releasing their movies in theaters as well as on the streaming service. But now we have companies like Disney and Sony just outright refusing to release some movies at all, as long as COVID's around. So what do you think is better? At least getting them out, even though it's going to be partially on HBO Max, just so it can make some sort of money? Or do you think that pushing it all the way back is the better way to go, so where they can hopefully try to bring it back to normal? But I mean, the movie's got to come out sometime. Is my problem. So I don't know, John. What are your thoughts?
Well, if they're expecting another lockdown, it makes sense to be pushing everything back, especially an entire year. But I think, for fans, definitely want the movies out, and they want to go and see them. But for the studios, with Wonder Woman, I doubt it's made anywhere close to how much
I'm more worried about the theaters, though, because if the theaters shut down because they can't make any money, then there's no theatrical experience at all. There's no discussion here, right? and movies need to come out for the theaters to work. And obviously, I know there needs to be guidelines and rules and stuff like that. And for the most part, I think theaters have gotten it down to where they can space people out to where they're not near each other. They mandate masks. They disinfect the theaters after everybody is out of there and everything.
Theaters have also been doing...
So I understand the whole being safe thing, but at some point, these businesses and even small businesses, because there's mom and pop theaters out there that must be just absolutely being destroyed right now. You know, these businesses need to open back up at some point. Obviously, yeah, you got to be careful, be safe, do it the safe way. COVID, wear a mask, disinfect everything, right. But movies have got to come out, or else all of these theaters are going to shut down and there won't be any box office to report on, you know? So I don't know. I mean, there's kind of two sides to the table here. You go the HBO Max route to where you release it in theaters as well as streaming at the same time, or you just don't release it at all and you keep pushing it back for forever until you think that people will actually be able to go in to see the movie. Where do you think you lie there?
Well, the things that the theaters are doing to stay alive at the moment are doing re-releases, and then also they will do like watch parties where you can get like a bunch of your friends, pay a different amount, like a certain amount, and then rent out a theater to play whatever movie you want. Mm-hmm. Or I've even seen people play Super Smash Bros. On a theater screen. But I feel like for the studio, they're going to like want to push it back so they can make as much as possible. But for the theater's sake, they're going to want at least like smaller movies to come out. I don't know if they need like a full big one because like it's going to be released on HBO Max, and you can tell with Wonder Woman it's not on the top of the charts anymore.
Yeah.
So that means
it was for a while,
yeah,
but you know.
They're going to go and start watching, like getting a first viewing of a show in theaters, that's good. And then if you like the movie enough, you'll usually go again. But if you don't need to go again, you don't need a theatrical
And I will say
experience.
this, Wonder Woman did open fairly well. For COVID numbers, I think it opened around 57 million. Which is pretty good.
Very good.
So you know, and I might be, don't quote me on that. That might be wrong. That was just the number that came to my head. But you know, for COVID numbers, it did open fairly well, box office wise. But and then we got something like The Marksman coming out. It opens with 3 million. But I mean, considering that's not, you know, a mega like blockbuster franchise that has already, you know, been known, like Wonder Woman or something like if a Star Wars movie came out or something like that, you know, like obviously something like a Wonder Woman or a Star Wars is going to make way more money, but something just like a typical action movie, Liam Neeson opening at $3 million, I think that's pretty decent, COVID standard wise, you know. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how things continue to play out through the box office when numbers start to rise again, if ever, you know. So we will just have to wait and see what happens there. With that being said, we're going to take a quick break, and after this, we're going to discuss the the Batwoman season 2 premiere, and Alan Tudyk from Rogue One will not be appearing in the Rogue One prequel series. We'll talk about that and more up next. Welcome back into the film reel. Batwoman season 2 premiered last weekend, and it shocked me. You know, I was actually pleasantly surprised that I actually enjoyed it. You know, this is coming out of the huge drama that went down after the end of last season, where the star of the show, Ruby Rose, quit the show, or something like that happened. I think it was a mutual agreement that Ruby Rose should leave the show, and so they were kind of scrambling to find a new lead to Batwoman. They said they weren't going to recast, so they cast Javisa Levine or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I'm sorry. But she plays Ryan Wilder, who is the new Batwoman in this show. And I was pleasantly surprised, John. I actually found myself enjoying watching, and I didn't really get that throughout the first season of Batwoman, you know. So I actually really like her backstory with how they tied it in, because Batwoman, the original Batwoman, Kate Kane, her sister was like the main bad guy, and then they revealed that the main bad guy, Alice, the original Batwoman's sister, was responsible for the death of her adopted mother. And so that kind of gives her motivation for the main villain, and it also kind of connects her to the family of Kate Kane, who are still supporting characters in this show. They got to find out what they're going to do with the family of Kate Kane, who are main characters of the show, without Kate Kane there, you know? So I actually really enjoyed how they were able to kind of tie it together, make Ryan Wilder relevant to these characters, and kind of continue on. Obviously, it was without a doubt a very rushed introduction to this character, but, you know, Ruby Rose left quite suddenly, you know, so they didn't really have much of another choice. And unfortunately, the ratings were just absolutely abysmal for this episode. So I hope they kind of start to rise again as positive buzz comes out with this show, because I am definitely seeing a lot more positive feedback with this first episode here than I have for the entirety of season 1 of Batwoman. So I'm hoping that the show is on an upward trajectory and they can continue going on from there. John, do you have any thoughts?
I never watched the Batman series because when I first heard of it, Batwoman, my bad. When I first heard of it, I only heard bad things.
Yeah,
and so
sure.
I just was like let off, and I'm already not one to watch much DC. So if I only hear bad things, I'm not gonna go out my way to watch it. But I'm glad they're able to like fix the show after what you said happened.
Yeah,
and I hope the reviews actually do go up.
Me too, because I really found myself really enjoying the first episode, and I'm really excited to see where they take it from here, because obviously this is such a weird scenario that the show is in, and I can't wait to see how they try to twist it and change it to kind of make it make sense.
Yeah, it's not often that you see a lead just leave.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often, definitely, for sure. And usually at that point they just recast. But no, they cast an entirely different character that they're introducing. So it was definitely a rush, but hopeful introduction to the new Batwoman, and I can't wait to see what they do more with that. In other news, Alan Tudyk, who played the droid K2SO in Star Wars Rogue One, has recently revealed that he will not be reprising his role in the Rogue One prequel series, Star Wars Andor. So K2SO and Cassian Andor were kind of, you know, buddy cop-ish kind of rogue squadron people, you know, in the Star Wars universe. And K2SO was a very important character to Cassian Andor in Star Wars Rogue One. And it's kind of weird because, you know, they had him on stage, if I'm not mistaken, at Star Wars Celebration 2019. You know, to kind of talk about the show with Diego Luna, who plays Cassian Andor, and Kathleen Kennedy, the CEO of Lucasfilm. So it kind of makes me wonder what happened there. You know, why is he not in the show? It seemed like he was definitely going to be in the show before. You know, so it's definitely a very odd scenario there, because he's an important character to the Cassian Andor character. And people, and K2SO was a very popular character in Rogue One, and people, as Star Wars fans already aren't really too enthusiastic about a Cassian Andor show. So now that they've taken out one of the most popular characters from the original film, I feel like people now are going to be even less interested now, seeing that K2SO probably isn't going to be in it. So John, what are your thoughts on that?
I really don't know, because you're right about like they were like together the entire time. So like it's weird to see it without one of them. But I'm not sure like why they would have him leave the show. I'm wondering if it's like inside drama. Or
I don't know, because he just said that like they're filming right now and I haven't been asked to come on set, so I guess I'm not in it. Like it's just like, what? Like that doesn't make any sense. So yeah, it's really baffling. It's definitely not a Captain America, Chris Evans Captain America thing. It's really like, oh, this is the first time I've ever heard of me coming back. You know, it's definitely not like that, because it's just like they wouldn't keep that a secret. K2SO isn't a Captain America level type character to where they would want to keep that a secret. You know, it's not like Luke Skywalker showing up. You know, so I don't know. It is so baffling. You know, because he was there at Star Wars Celebration with Luna. the star of the show, so to kind of promote Andor. So it's just like such a bizarre scenario. So I'm definitely interested to see how that story develops moving forward. With that being said, we're going to take another quick break. And after this, Alec has his top 5 Batman movies coming up.
Now, more of the Film Reel with Alec Vaughn.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Film Reel here on News Channel 15. I'm Alec Vaughn, and today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 favorite Batman movies because I got my shirt on here. But without any further ado, we'll get started here. Alright, coming at number 5, I have Batman Begins. This movie starred the Dark Knight trilogy with Christopher Nolan directing it. The film follows Christian Bale slowly becoming Batman as he's dealing with the trauma of the death of his parents. He's the student of Ra's al Ghul, who's teaching him to be a warrior to fight crime in Gotham. And when he becomes Batman, he swears never to kill anyone. And he's hoping to, when he catches the bad guys, that they'll turn good, and that's why he doesn't kill them. And the film's really good because it's the first film out of the Dark Knight trilogy, and it's kind of like a fresh start from all the goofy Joel Schumacher movies before it. And at number 4, I have The Dark Knight Rises. This Dark Knight film focuses on Batman facing Bane, who's played by Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy does a really good job at playing Bane. Bane's a villain with superhuman strength, and he wears a big mask. And Catwoman's also in it, and she betrays Batman in the middle of the movie, but helps him in the end to fight off Bane. And I'm not going to spoil the ending because it's a really good ending to the whole trilogy. And at number 3, I have The Dark Knight. This movie is the second one in the Dark Knight trilogy. It focuses on Batman battling the Joker, who's played by Heath Ledger. And the Joker is trying to expose Batman for being a terrible person, and he's trying to find out Batman's secret identity. And the more Batman doesn't show off his mask or tell anyone his secret identity, the Joker murders more people. And the movie is really dark for Batman. It's definitely like the turning point of the trilogy about how far a hero can go. And at number 2, I have Batman 1989. This film follows Tim Burton directing Batman. It has Michael Keaton as Batman and Jack Nicholson as the Joker. And they're both really good in each of the roles. And it's really a fun movie because in the beginning of the movie, Batman punches Jack Nicholson into a huge thing of chemicals, which turns him into the Joker. And in the middle of the movie, it's explained that that the Joker kills Batman's parents. So the Joker actually created Batman first. In the final scene of the movie, they're both facing their duos. It's Batman against the Joker in an epic battle, and it's a really good film. You should go watch it. All right, and number 1, this one's kind of a surprise to everyone, but for my number 1 Batman movie, I decided to choose Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. This movie is a movie followed by Batman the Animated Series, which deserves the top spot in this list. Batman is trying to solve a whole bunch of murder mysteries from a person called the Phantasm, who's going around and killing mob gangsters. And Batman's trying to figure out who the Phantasm is. And this movie is really neat because it follows on the animated series about stuff that wasn't put on the show. The movie follows the origins of Batman slowly becoming this hero of Gotham, and about how he was before he became Batman. And Mark Hamill plays the Joker, and he does a really good job. Mark Hamill's probably one of my favorite voices of the Joker, and he does a really good job playing how crazy the Joker is. And that's going to do it for us here today. I'm Alec Vaughn. I'll see you later.
News Channel 15.
Oh, hello. Mask of the Phantasm. Okay, Alec, I see you. All right, that was a very unexpected pick for number 1, but I think a well-deserved one as well. Let's keep it with DC, and let's give our live reactions to the trailer of Superman and Lois coming to the CW.
When we were dreaming about having a family, it didn't look like this, did it? Lost jobs, Teens with severe anxiety. Parents
we're looking
gone
at
too soon.
Clark and Lois with 2 teenage sons. This is definitely
Why'd you move the family?
a new take.
Still looking for the simple life? 'Cause those days are gone, Clark. Long gone.
More grounded look at the
You
parent.
got the weight of the world on your shoulders.
Really wish
That's
I could
Lana
get drunk
Lane.
sometimes. You're saying you're Superman?
Well, we've
guessing
seen
they did
Superman
another
before. We've
recast.
seen him.
Oh, this
Am I
is the
Batwoman?
Superman from Supergirl.
We're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
No one ever dreams about the problems, but every life has them. Even the extraordinary ones.
But all the actors from like Justice League.
Superman and Lois, 2-hour premiere event Tuesday, February
Well, this is
23rd.
set in a
Stream free
different
next day on
universe
the
than
LCW
that.
Is this supposed to be a series?
Oh, whoops.
Or is this supposed to be a movie?
Go ahead and cut it back there. That was from the. Well, subscribe to the CW YouTube channel where we got that clip there. Thanks for that. It looks like I forgot to take that out there, but definitely a different take on the characters of Superman and Lois. We're getting to see them raise their 2 teenage sons, which is definitely intriguing to say the least. It's not really something that we've seen before in a show, and I think we're going to get a much more of a real world look at the 2 characters. John, what are your thoughts?
I'm intrigued on where they go with it.
Yeah.
Because they could do it very well, or they could do it very.
But yeah,
poorly.
so this is set in the same universe as Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl,
Okay.
all of those. So yeah, I mean, this is the first time that we're having a Superman series since Smallville, which began in 2001. So yeah, it's been a while since we got a new Superman show. So I'm definitely excited for Superman and Lois. I love Tyler Hoechlin in the role, who has been playing Superman since Supergirl season 2, and now they have been spun off into their own show, which I am definitely interested to see. They've got a much bigger budget. HBO Max is helping to finance, so it looks a lot better than the other CW shows, so I cannot wait for that. With that being said, we're going to wrap things up here on the Film Reel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned next week for more.